Good afternoon and welcome to Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. 4 released in Wandon gang. National Works Agency responds to stinging accusation from one. And later in sports, Aldane Thomas's maiden first-class century gives Scorpions huge. I'm Anthony Lugg. Here are the details. Up first this afternoon, 4 of the 33 defendants in the Wandon gang trial have been acquitted of being part of a criminal organization. Demain Elliston, Roshane Williams, Rivaldo Hilton, and Owen Ormsby were freed this morning in the Home Circuit Court. The prosecution told the court there was insufficient evidence to prove the men were members of the Wandon gang. Attorneys representing some of the other defendants have begun making no-case submissions. The prosecution closed its case 2 weeks ago. The police have identified the 3 persons killed in Wednesday's gun attack in Rose Heights, St. James. They are 27-year-old Chadwell Fraser of Felicity Road, Glendavon, 24-year-old Shamario Calvin of Rose Heights, and 25-year-old Tonian Reed of Jarrett Terrace, all in St. James. A 15-year-old boy and a man remain in hospital. The 5 individuals were shot when gunmen traveling in a car opened fire on a group on Mall Road about 4:20 in the afternoon. It's reported that 49 spent shells from high-powered rifles were found at the scene. No motive has been established for the shooting. The National Works Agency is again in the firing line over the ongoing dust nuisance along the licensed main road in St. Thomas. According to Councillor for the Morant Bay Division, Rohan Bryan, the NWA has failed to tell the public that there is no more money to continue the road work. As Kalisha Williams reports, the NWA has responded.
So yesterday, the people of License in St. Thomas took to the streets to protest the dust nuisance along the License main road. Now today, the councillor for the Morant Bay Division, Rohan Bryan, is blasting the National Works Agency.
If we tell the truth, I make the people know. Why is that we don't tell people they said the money done? They need to tell the people they said the money done. The last set of money to my ear through the grapevine said the money done. Then pay the last set of money just a couple of days ago and said the money done. That is why the road is like this.
So I'm asking you, the money done?
I don't know where the councillor would have gotten such information from. Clearly, he is wrong, very wrong, because the way that these contracts are executed, they are paid for performance contracts. They are performance contracts. In other words, when you perform, you're paid. Argument about money running out is certainly not true.
Now, according to communications manager at the National Works Agency, Stephen Shaw, the company also does not foresee any financial challenges in the coming weeks in regards to completing the project.
The money is in the budget for this fiscal year. We had money in the last fiscal year, and I think there is that commitment on behalf of the government to have the projects completed.
Mr. Shaw said in the coming weeks, the condition of the road should improve significantly. Reporting from the National Works Agency in St. Andrew, I'm Kalisha Williams for TVJ News.
Vendors who operate in the Morant Bay Market in St. Thomas are asking the authorities to make improvements to the facility. The vendors say some of their concerns have implications for public health. More in this report from Jamila Maitland.
Something's fishy in the Morant Bay Market in St. Thomas, and it's making the vendors' lives miserable.
Right now, the fish house, they're right beside me. And the fish house smell terrible from Monday coming right down back. Now it stinks. Me don't know what come out there for dead man in there and fish them myself.
But the stench is just one of the many problems that the vendors have to endure. Their other concerns include irregular garbage disposal.
When I was a young girl coming here, this market not change. Rain come wet with, sun come burn with. And you talk, no differences.
We need the back of the market to cover, because every year we have to buy, every month we have to buy tarpaulin. And it is not nice when the rain falling. And the water wet way up. The gutter want to fix at the back of the market.
Roach take over them. And we ask them to come
do something to the roach them, about the roach them. Because me I sell, and when me take out all the cinnamon leaf and the something them, roach come out upon them. And it's very embarrassing. And the people that walk away leave them. So I ask them to come spray the market and roach powder it out. The little roach powder them, me buy one thing and spray. And 1 week it done and the roach then still not dead.
The vendors say the likelihood of a disease outbreak grows with each passing day. They reason that the facility should be in a better condition as they have to pay market fees to use the space. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Calls this afternoon for more public awareness regarding cybersecurity. This comes on the heels of the theft of $17 million from a dozen customers at the National Commercial Bank. Ransomware continues to be a significant threat to the country's banking system. In just 8 days, several customers of National Commercial Bank, NCB, became victims of a cyber attack. They have been scammed $17 million. Speaking on the morning agenda on Power 106, CEO of T-Tech Limited, Christopher Reckford, says he believes public awareness regarding cybersecurity should become a staple for all Jamaicans.
Cybersecurity awareness training is one of the big things that we are continuing out there to implement and to recommend to customers and just public at large. And I know it's something that the Ministry of Technology, through their CERT, has been doing. We work with them on doing it. So awareness.
Despite financial institutions investing billions of dollars to strengthen their firewall in a bid to protect their customers, Mr. Reckford says people continue to fall prey to scammers.
Sadly, people are easily tricked, and the folks with the right sound and they have the right confidence tricks to play. Sadly, the people fall prey to this still. So one thing that we've been doing over and over, we literally go to every single solitary customer and any event that we're invited to, and we talk about awareness, cybersecurity awareness, what to look for, what not to look for.
In the meantime, Special Investigation and Fraud Prevention Manager at NCB, Dane Nicholson, says the company will be taking steps to prevent any such actions from recurring. He was speaking on TVJ Primetime News last night.
So we'll be ramping up our customer educational campaign around phishing, smishing, and vishing so that customers know how to protect themselves.
And it's time now for a break, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to Midday News and thanks for staying with us. Local discussions about the death penalty continue to heat up following a recent Privy Council ruling. In its decision, the UK law lord stated that the mandatory death penalty in Trinidad and Tobago is not unconstitutional. O'Shane Masters picks up that story.
This latest discussion about the death penalty follows an appeal which was brought by a prisoner in Trinidad, which challenged the constitutionality of the automatic death sentence being imposed on anyone convicted of murder. The Privy Council in its ruling said the death penalty was not unconstitutional. Trinidad and Tobago is the only country in the English-speaking Caribbean that retains the mandatory death penalty. Now, Jamaica's Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, was asked if the death penalty would again be used in Jamaica.
Death penalty is always debatable. There are some of us who support it in circumstances where they are either found guilty of causing death to another citizen. Others feel differently.
There have been differing views on the matter. Speaking on the morning agenda in April last year, Attorney at Law Isaac Buchanan said it would not be easy to carry out executions in Jamaica.
1988 was the last time somebody was sentenced to death or put to hanging. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that. Our government simply cannot do it without sanctions from the international community. Our Prime Minister came 2 days ago and said, I am going into the international market to beg money. The very people we are begging from says they are anti-death penalty.
However, Mr. Chang believes that imprisonment of murderers could send a stronger message.
When you take a big man, as them say, who seems to have that done, you put him before a court, before a jury, you try and find him guilty and lock him away. If it diminishes his stature in the community, it sends a signal that we are in control. And I think that's a very important message to the wider community. To just find him and kill him, you know, whether it is extrajudicial or judicial, it has a penalty that the next man, all right, I take my risk and go on. But to change them life that dramatically, putting them away for life, embarrassing them, belittling them, and diminishing them, I think is a very important part of turning away those who might be seeking to use the gun as a source of empowerment.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
A home for a man in need. Here's Krista Campbell with a Labor Day project that, when completed this week, will make a world of difference in one man's life.
Living in shambles. The story of a man resident of Sevens Road in Effortville, Clarendon, known as Cheddy. Two houses side by side give a timeline of where Cheddy has called home for the past several decades to where he's now received help to live more comfortably. Clement Hewitt, who's known Cheddy since he was a boy in 1974, explains that Cheddy used to live with his grandmother until she passed away and his mother left. Mr. Hewitt says Cheddy was diagnosed as mentally ill as an adult and some years ago burnt the house down while cooking. He's been living amongst garbage and under otherwise unsafe conditions ever since.
Neighbor around look after him, giving when he get food, everything, clothes. Sometimes people in pass show, but it's a disgrace to them how them come and see. But them not looking after him, how them feel look after him. And sometimes when we walk on the road and just a beg and we are going to a canal and we run him out of a canal. So if you go look good water, drink.
When rain fall, Cheddy always stand up a shop side, rain wet him up in soak. And when Cheddy pass you, and when Cheddy pass at distance, you still smell him. Because based on him sleeping in a rubbish heap and the dump.
Otis James, who founded the James and Friends charity in Effortville 18 years ago, says two previous attempts to rebuild a proper house for Cheddy didn't make it this far. But on Labor Day, he got help from corporate company Delta Shield to finally get the Clarendon resident a safe place to live.
2 days before, with the James and Friends help, we managed to clear the entire area and then start a new aspect of the property to clean it out and have the building structured and stabilized. So we're hoping to get some furniture later on in the week to assist with him getting rest.
We don't want to build a big room for Cheddy, but the person that comes to the room too big, Cheddy go full up here more rubbish. So we just set a room where you can put a bed in it and rain now with him.
The flooring of the new house will also be completed this week and lighting installed, plus
I plan to put on a radio night too and make him go and hear some music.
We have to just watch him and then wait and know we can have no fire in there. But you know, we don't want to say can go in there. If you go suit that in bed and take out some of my clothes you may have. Can you give me good clothes them, you take your old clothes them and put on top of it.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
And it's now time for the Business Minute with O'Shane Masters.
Pan Jam Investments saw increased profits of $1.1 billion for the first quarter ended March. For the corresponding period last year, profit was $1 billion. Revenue for the investment company, however, declined. Total revenue was $775 million versus $785 million in 2021. Pan Jam gained $236.9 million from investments income. It says property income was down 4.2%. However, its real estate portfolio remained stable at an occupancy level of 92%. Twitter has agreed to pay $150 million in fines in response to a federal lawsuit. The Federal Trade Commission accused Twitter of misleading 140 million of its users about how it protects their personal data. According to the FTC's lawsuit, Twitter failed to tell its users for years that it was using their contact information to help target advertising. That violates a 2011 privacy settlement with the federal government. Under the proposed settlement, Twitter will also be required to inform users about its alleged use of personal information for marketing purposes. The lawsuit comes at a bad time for the social media platform, as it is going through an acquisition process by billionaire Elon Musk. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm O'Shane Masters.
And it's time now for the latest developments on the regional and international scenes. Here's Sandy Williams.
In the region,
In Guyana, 3 children ages 8, 6, and 1 died when they were trapped inside their burning house at Mocha East Bank, Demerara on Thursday morning. According to Fire Chief Gregory Wickham, the Guyana Fire Service received reports of the blaze around 1:25 a.m. and 2 fire tenders were dispatched soon after. However, because of the condition of the road leading to the house, firemen had difficulty reaching the burning building and had to go to the house on foot. The fire chief said the circumstances surrounding the fire were still being ascertained. On the international scene, in the United States, the National Rifle Association, NRA, is going ahead with its annual convention in Houston this weekend, just days after the mass school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. The association's 151st annual convention will take place at the George R. Brown Convention Center. The timing of the previously scheduled event has some organizations upset, and they plan to protest the start of the convention. Mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner, says the city cannot cancel the convention. The city has had a binding contract with the NRA for 2 years.
I think the better question is, why would, for example, elected officials be going and speaking at the NRA convention?
The NRA has since issued a statement offering sympathy to the families and victims of the mass school shooting in Uvalde. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy. We head now to a quick break. When we return, we'll have your midday sports report. Renardo Brown is standing by.
Welcome back. It's now time for your midday sports. I'm Renardo Brown. Wicketkeeper batsman Aldane Thomas became the 10th Centurion in this year's Regional 4-Day Championship after his maiden first-class 100 propelled the Jamaica Scorpions to 393 all-out on day 2 of their 4th-round game against the Guyana Harpy Eagles at the Diego Martin Sports Complex in Trinidad. Resuming the day on 35, Thomas reached his century of 98 balls and scored the last 36 runs of the Scorpions' innings, 23 of which came in the 10th wicket partnership with Nicholas Gordon, as he was dismissed for an even 100. Jermaine Blackwood, who had resumed on 110, added just 4 runs to his overnight total, while Jamie Merchant 39 and Markina Mindley a duck were the other wickets to fall on the morning. Veersamy Permal picked up 3 for 96, while Gudakesh Moti, Kevin Sinclair and Dimitri Cameron ended with 2 wickets each. Now at sports time, the Guyana Harpy Eagles were 36 without loss after lunch. And visitors Sri Lanka are in the driver's seat heading into the final day of their second test against Bangladesh in Mirpur, as they require another 6 wickets to seal victory and take the series 1-0. Centuries from Angela Matthews and Dinesh Chandimal were the highlight of the 4th day, as Sri Lanka, resuming at 282 for 5, posted 506 all-out for a first innings lead of 141 runs. Matthews was left unbeaten on 145, his second century in as many games, while Chandimal made 124. The two posted 199 runs for the 6th wicket, but from there, the visitors lost their last 4 wickets for just 24 runs. Shakib Al Hassan ended pick of the Bangladesh bowlers with 5 for 96, while Ibadat Hussain took 4 for 148. Batting a second time, Bangladesh got to stumps at 34 for 5, needing another 107 runs to make Sri Lanka bat again. First innings Centurions, Mushfiqur Rahim 14 and Litan Das 1 are the batsmen at the crease. Asita Fernando has so far taken 2 for 12. And the West Indies are set to play 2 additional series during the upcoming 2022-25 edition of the ICC ODI Women's Championship after Bangladesh and Ireland were added to make it a 10-team affair. Bangladesh and Ireland were added based on their 9th and 10th place ODI rankings. They joined the West Indies and the 7 other existing teams, Australia, England, India, New Zealand, Pakistan, South Africa and Sri Lanka. Each team is set to play 3 matches, that's 4 home and 4 away, over the next 3 years. At the end of the cycle, the top 5 teams as the host will book a berth for the World Cup in 2025, while the rest of the teams will then have to go through the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup qualifier, where they will play the 11th and 12th ranked teams for 2 spots. The latest cycle will kick off on June 1 with Sri Lanka's tour of Pakistan for a 3-match series. In another move to expand the game further and widen the pool, the ICC has given ODI status to 5 associate nations, those being the Netherlands, PNG, Thailand, Scotland and the USA, with immediate effect. Now to football, technical director at Arena FC, Wendell Downswell, says the COVID-19 pandemic is partly to be blamed for the team's inability to register players for the JFF's Tier 2 competition. Arena was made ineligible for the competition, which is set to kick off next Saturday, after failure to register players on the FIFA Connect portal. Speaking to TVJ Sports this morning, Downswell, who says he's yet to get official word from the JFF, says finding players is an issue.
Apparently, the club had some challenge with some of the players regarding, as you know, the COVID to get the number of players to really register, because I get to understand that most of the sessions they didn't have the numbers as such. You see, I mean, it keeps fluctuating. So that was a challenge, and when they went on to this thing that they had a challenge with in trade that they face, because it keeps fluctuating, and then now by the time the manager tried to get all the necessary information, it was upon them.
And finally, Jaylen Brown scored 25 points as the Boston Celtics recovered from a poor first half to win at the Miami Heat and move to within one win of the NBA Finals. After trailing 42-37 at halftime, Boston won 93-18 Miami to take a 3-2 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. Jason Tatum added 22 points and 12 rebounds for the Celtics, who are aiming to reach the NBA Finals for the first time since 2010. Boston hosts Game 6 of the best-of-7 series on Friday. And that's it for your Midday Sports Report. I'm Renardo Brown. Anthony, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Renardo. And that's the Midday News. I'm Anthony Lugg. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.